Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to each and every one of you. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far. Today, I'm just going to be showing you guys the quick little update and additions that I have made to my previous firepower build for the Trickster. If you guys want to see the previous build, this video is going to be a little bit shorter, not going to have as much overkill information going in depth on everything. So if you want that kind of information, just the back to basic kind of stuff, you want to click the top right card and the link in the description down below. But if you already know the basics and you're just looking for the updates and maybe some things to try out for this build, then let me go ahead and show you. Let's just jump right on in. So the overall summary of this build is you are a not quite glass cannon, but you're not quite super tank either. You have a good amount of survivability with this build, but you are not like the tankiest thing. You can get really hurt and you can die fairly easily, especially if you're getting swarmed or not paying attention. But if you are able to handle a group of enemies, you are able to just mow them down because your damage is that high. This build is all about getting your firepower to be as high as possible, and as you can see, we've got about 180,000. But essentially, this build's entire plan is to try to get as much DPS into your guns as humanly possible. So the only survivability mod that we actually have is on our boots, and that's Life Drain, where we steal or we heal based off of 15% of our target's HP, which they have millions of health, so it is really strong. You kill one perforo and you're basically full health. After that, the only other sort of defense thing we have is Golem's Limb, which gives us the protective Golem effect for 3 seconds after every single killing shot, because it's only on a 1 second cooldown. So for 3 seconds, every time you shoot, you're just constantly repeating the 3 second timer over and over and over again, constantly having Golem. So that is that's the overall summary of this build. It is mostly based around firepower and getting damage out there. This is not your insane, like, super tanky class that will live forever in any situation ever. If you get swarmed and you get overwhelmed, you can die, but there also is the chance that because your damage is so high, you can just mow through enemies and just obliterate them before they can even hurt you. Or because your health regen is so high via Life Drain that if you do drop down in health, because you do so much damage, it is likely that an enemy is so close to dead that you'll just regain full health and be totally fine. So this build is basically just on the brink of death in those situations where it's like you're being swarmed by like a crawler and 4 alphas and a bunch of perforos. You can survive, but it is very easy to get overwhelmed and possibly die. But this Life Drain one here and the mixture of Golem can in fact keep you alive. So if you're down to do as much DPS as possible and possibly be a squishy glass cannon, this is the build for you because we are running Dark Sacrifice on both of our guns here. So Dark Sacrifice gives you a constant like 5% bleed effect until you're at half health. It won't drain you past half health, so 50% of your maximum health gets drained by a bleed slowly over time. It is such a slow bleed, you won't even really notice it. It's very easy to just heal past it, but in exchange for that small bleed that kind of over time takes away 50% of your health, you gain 75% weapon damage all the time. And because Dark Sacrifice is, I think it's in its own little mod category, so it actually ends up being multiplicative, which means you get more than the 75% weapon damage bonus. It ends up being like an 80 or 85% damage bonus, which makes it better than Killing Spree in that regard as well. So that's actually one of the major differences between this build and my last build, is it no longer uses Killing Spree, we use Dark Sacrifice, just for that extra bit of firepower at the cost of our health, so which makes this a little bit more squishy and a little bit more of a glass cannon. But again, we should be fine. The bleed from Dark Sacrifice is so small that you really shouldn't notice it, especially with Life Drain stealing all of that health back from every enemy that you kill. You really shouldn't notice it. And the other major difference between this build and the last build is that we're using Tanner's Hat here because it has bonus firepower, close range damage, and cooldown reduction, which is the absolute best rolls you want to get on your armor. So we just modded Bloodlust on there. You could do Sharp Eye as well. You could do Stare into the Barrel and Sharp Eye if you really wanted to. I just like to have Bloodlust on there because it's just based off of killing shots. So it's a little bit easier for me to stack that up because I sometimes forget to aim down the sights because I'm a big dumb. So Tanner's Hat with Bloodlust and the Dark Sacrifice mods on our weapons are pretty much the only things I've actually changed since that last build video. So everything else is the same, with the chest plate being, obviously this chest plate is interchangeable. I just kind of like the chest plate. It has the perks that I like, and we just need to get better attributes. So I am looking for a better chest plate, but it's just hard to find like the perfect one to go for. But yeah, this chest plate is interchangeable. These pants have bonus firepower, close range damage, cooldown reduction, with instant reload and buckshot shells. So these pants are pretty much perfect. The gloves have bonus firepower, cooldown reduction, close range damage, with Captain Hunter and personal space. So these gloves are also pretty much perfect. And these boots have bonus firepower, close range damage, cooldown reduction, with life drain and barrel roll. So these boots are also pretty much perfect. I think barrel roll could be swapped out for something a little bit better, but it's actually not that bad. Barrel roll allows you to keep moving and just keep being agile, and allows you to dodge certain attacks, so it gives you an excuse to dodge attacks, but also while dodging you get extra firepower. So as long as you're constantly rolling, you get that 30%, or not 30%, 30,000 firepower easily. So that's pretty much it for the gear. I literally do not use my pistols at all. I have like 16 kills total with the actual sidearms here. So you can use whatever sidearms you want here. If you actually use them, you can use the sidearm with like vulnerability and do even more damage here. I just never use my pistol. I just put it on because it's 69k firepower. So as for the skills, we are still using Twisted Rounds, Venator's Knife, and Hunt the Prey. So Twisted Rounds, the entire goal for this build is to keep Twisted Rounds up for as long as you possibly can. That's where the instant reload mod comes into play, is every time we use our skill Hunt the Prey here, which is on a 4.3 second cooldown, could be even lower if we get that extra chest plate with cooldown reduction. So 4.3 seconds, not bad, could be even lower, but every time we use this skill, we gain 3,500 shield, and we instantly reload our weapon. And the bonus about instant reload here is that it says it replenishes your magazine instead of reloading or anything like that. So certain mods will say they reload your weapon and then they will cancel your twisted rounds or blighted rounds or volcanic rounds. This one replenishes your magazine, basically not counting it as a reload, and so you can end up keeping your twisted rounds up all the time. So that is the actual build for this character, is to keep our Twisted Rounds up all the time. If we lose Twisted Rounds for any reason, we actually still do pretty good damage. It's just not nearly as good as with Twisted Rounds for obvious reasons. And then of course you have Venator's Knife, because it slows the target and marks them, and they take double damage for that first shot. So every enemy with the little diamond above their head will take double damage on the first shot. So it is super duper helpful for this build, just to get that extra oomph. That double damage is too good to pass up. Some people will try to use Time Rift. I'm not a big fan of Time Rift. It just isn't really that good for me. Like, I just don't like using it, so I just stick with Venator's Knife because that double damage is too good to give up. So for the class tree, it is exactly the same as the last time. So this is what our skill tree looks like if you guys are wanting to go ahead and copy this. It looks the exact same as before. It is just slightly different. I think maybe last time I put Scion of Power here, but now I have it on Equilibrium, I think. That might be the only change I made, but it's basically the exact same class tree as before, so just go ahead and copy that. And so there you guys go. There you guys have it. There is my build. That is the current updated build for my firepower Trickster. You can get up to like 400,000 firepower with this build, and you can hit for like 3 to 5 million with a pump action, and like, what is it, like 2 to 3 million for the death shield here. So if you really want that extra damage, this is what you go for. Swapping out Killing Spree for Dark Sacrifice was a huge benefit, because you get that extra, it's like, I think it's an extra 10% over Killing Spree because it's multiplicative. I believe that's what it is. I'm not actually sure, but you definitely get more damage than Killing Spree. But that is the build, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you guys, give you some fuel for your build, hopefully answered some questions, gave you some direction to go for your build. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys are new here, by the way, I do stream on Twitch, so if you guys want to come and hang out with me over there, I stream Outriders carries all the frickin' time. So if you guys want to come hang out, get a carry, sub with Twitch Prime, all that fun stuff, you guys totally can. And as well, my Patreon and merch links and all those fun Twitter links and everything that all the other YouTubers and streamers have, those will be in the description down below if you guys want to go support me on those things. And yeah, once again, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Like the video if it helped you guys, subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.